Hi, everyone. Sean Gilliam here. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another episode of my podcast, Real Estate on the Front Range. In this episode, we're doing the monthly market update for June of 2026. And we're going to take a look to see how the market's been trending and see how much activity we're getting from buyers and sellers along the Front Range of Northern Colorado. So stay tuned as we get into the details. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate on the Front Range, my podcast where I cover all things real estate here on the Front Range of Northern Colorado. Join me to get market updates, tips, and information on relevant topics to make sure you are fully informed before you buy and sell your next home. This is Sean Gilliam, your host, and I look forward to you joining me on your favorite podcast for the latest episodes. All right, let's go ahead and get started with Boulder County. As you can see here, this data below represents our most recent data, and that's from May of 2026. And it's in comparison to May of 2025. So this is the year-over-year data change. And we'll start with new listings for Boulder County. This May, we were at 440, and that's down 25.5% from last year at this time when it was at 591. Pending sales are at 347. That's up 9.1% compared to last year when it was at 318. Closed sales, 333. That's up 0.9%. Last year, it was at 330. Days on market until sale, 55. That's down 6.8%. Last year, it was at 59. And our median sales price for Boulder County is $850,000. That's down 5%. Last year, it was at $894,938. And our average sales price, $1,065,707. And that's down 6.7%. Last year at this time, it was at $1,142,121. Percent of list price received, 99.3. That is up 1.1% from last year. It's a good sign when it was at 98.2%. And then our inventory of homes for sale is at 841. That's down almost 16% compared to last year when it was at 1,000. Month supply of inventory, 3.2. And that's down 20% from last year when it was at 4. So we definitely seen more movement in Boulder County, even with the headwind of the higher interest rates. If you recall, earlier this year, we were at 5.99% with the hopes that it would stay there or maybe even drop a little lower. But because of worldwide events, things jumped up to 6.6%, and that's kind of where we're at now. So it's put a few more people on the sidelines that might have otherwise been a little more ambitious during the spring market. So let's jump over here to Larimer County. Let's see, new listings, 734. That's down 9.4% from last year at this time when it was at 810. Pending sales, 524, and that's up almost 18% compared to last year when we saw 445 deals under contract. Closed sales, 497. That's up 0.8%. Last year it was at 493. Days on market until sale, 69. That's up 1.5%. Last year it was at 68. Median sales price, $600,000. That's up 0.5%. Last year at this time, the median sales price for Larimer County was $597,000. Average sales price, $698,005, and that is pretty much statistically on par with last year when it was at $698,205. Percent of list price received, 99.2%. That's the exact same as last year. And the inventory of homes for sale is 1,359. That's up 0.8%. Last year it was at 1,348. And then the month supply of inventory is 3.4. That's down 8.1% compared to last year at this time when it was at 3.7. Weld County, we can see new listings at 648. That is down 15% from last year when it was at 762 new listings. Pending sales, 516. That's up 7.3%. Last year we had 481 homes under contract. Closed sales, 474. That's down 20.2%. Last year at this time, it was at 594. Days on market until sale, 67. That's on par with last year. Median sales price, $505,000. That is down 2.8%. Last year at this time, the median sales price in Weld County was $519,700. Average sales price, $575,772, and that is down 0.1%. Last year, it was at $576,106. Percent of list price received, 99.3%, and that is down from last year by 0.1%. Last year, it was at 99.4% of list price received. Inventory of homes for sale, 1,271. That's down 3.8%. Last year, it was at 1,321. And our month supply of inventory is about the same. It's at 3. That's down 3.2%. Last year at this time, it was at 3.1. So that is the data for year over year changes in the market. We'll switch over here to take a look at the month over month changes so you can see how things are trending here in recent months. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the month over month changes for Boulder, Larimer, and Weld counties. This data is for detached homes, so single family homes. And taking a look at the average sales price, you can kind of see for Weld and Larimer counties, it's down a little bit, but not by much. It's kind of trending sideways. Boulder County is maybe taking a little bit of a dip compared to the prior month, or the prior 2 months, I should say, but not a significant amount. That could be in the normal range of fluctuation that you might see. The number of new listings, as is typical, we saw some ramping up from December into January, February, and then into March, but it's starting to taper off for new listings. This is countywide, though, mind you. There are some communities where we're seeing a significant amount of, on a weekly basis, new listings hitting the market. As you can see, I'll jump over here to get out of the way. So this is for Longmont. And so we got 3 coming soon, 31, usually week over week, because as you can see here, this is every 7 days. Usually I'm seeing in the teens to the 20s, but this week we have 31. So there's still sellers putting their homes on the market out there in the local communities, which doesn't necessarily reflect clearly when you look at the month over month data. But let's jump back over this, for the counties, I should say. And then let's take a look at homes for sale. And that is continuing to go up. As we can see, it's trending upward for the spring and into the summer. We usually see May kind of taper off, so we'll see how it goes this year. But the typical trend is that listings start to taper off after May. And then when we get into June and July and August, it tends to be a bit of a slower season. So, and those reasons are obvious, as you can probably relate to. Either people are going on vacations in the summer, or they're just trying to enjoy some family time before school starts in the fall for kids, that kind of thing. So there's various reasons, but usually summer is a time when everybody relaxes and moves away from the grind of trying to buy or sell a home. So, all right, under contract, that, as you can see, ramped up into the spring, and then it kind of tapered off once we hit March. March, as you may recall, is when those interest rates started to go up, and so it's kind of tapered off and is trending sideways. Still in the positives for all 3 counties, but not the significant increase that we might otherwise see. All right, closed sales. We see a downturn for Weld County here. They're down 18.4%. That's a big drop. But Larimer and Boulder counties, we're still seeing an increase as far as the number of closed sales. So that's a good sign. Days on market until sale, that's dropping. This is a good metric for determining how fast buyers are moving and how soon sellers can hope to get their home under contract and get it to the closing table. So when this number goes down, that's a good sign that the market is active and buyers and sellers are going to closing. So it's good. Month supply of inventory, we're seeing this slowly going up. While there is a good amount of activity with buyers, it's not enough to decrease the current supply. And so that's why you see that month supply of inventory continuing to go up. The number of showings per listing, that, as you can see, kind of peaked in March and then has gone down. Again, I think that has something to do with interest rates. I think if they had stayed at 5.99% or even got lower or just stayed around there, I think a lot of buyers, more buyers, I should say, would be on the market, and we might see more of a sideways trend in this. But that's not the case with the current interest rate. Buyers are still buying out there. However, I know from personal experience, some of my buyers are kind of like, we're going to hold off. So that is how many showings per listing. And then we're going to show the data for the number of showings before a home goes under contract. This is one, as this metric goes down, that means that buyers are making a decision to write a contract on a home sooner rather than later. And so, as you can see here, it's trending upwards. So, homes are needing more showings before a buyer is willing to pull the trigger. In Larimer and Weld Counties, it's kind of trending downwards slightly, but not by much. That's probably more reflective of the fact that there's more affordable homes in Larimer and Weld County. So this is the data. This is how the market is trending. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch. If you're looking to buy, it's a good time to talk with a lender. So if you're just thinking about it, you're sitting on the fence, talk with the lender. There might be some good opportunities, or you might realize a home is more affordable than you thought. And once in a while, we come across some sellers that have an assumable mortgage. And so that might be a good option if we can find one of those and get you in a lower interest rate. For sellers, same thing. You want to get ahead of the game and start consulting and figuring out what you need to get your home in show-ready shape. The standard is still true that if your home is in move-in ready shape, more buyers are likely going to be attracted to it, especially if it's priced well for that market. Otherwise, any home will sell at a low price. So then you're kind of putting yourself in a situation where buyers will negotiate you down. And if you're kind of in a situation where you have to move, you might be willing to negotiate with that and not get as much money. So something to think about. I would also encourage people, there's been articles in the last month or two about unintentional landlords. And so some people's homes have not sold. And so they decided, hey, let's just rent it out and move on. And at least we'll have somebody else paying the mortgage. So that's also a good option if you can find a renter and the rent is enough to cover your mortgage. And if it's not, you make enough money to cover that difference. So those are some options to consider. But yeah, feel free to give me a call. I'd be glad to talk with you about those and help you decide what your best option is. So look forward to talking to you soon. You can reach me here at 970-313-6706. Take care.